For the sake of myself, I'm going to keep all vulgar language away from this video because I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea and think I'm only making this video to shame on them. Before I rewrote this video, I figured if I didn't rewrite it, I'd probably get into some trouble with YouTube. Like, I was going to swear like 40 other times, so making the first rant video with no swear words, except for one exception. Let's see how this goes. This is Prana in his room, on the microphone after pretty much 2 months of inactivity. Good morning, YouTube. Now, first things first, I haven't made a rant video since I was like 14. I'm 17 now, so you can imagine that the approach for this is going to be somewhat different. I have more resources to make for this video than I did in all of my other rants, which I think is great because I really want to get some things off of my chest. This has been an issue for me since before I could even take a number 2 on my own, and every time I try to explain this to people other than my friends, they think I'm just an autistic monkey who always full of lies, and because of that, nothing gets figured out and done about it, and I'm always the one person that gets screwed over. Plus, I'm pretty sure my friends are starting to get sick and tired of hearing me complain about it. The 2 people that I'm going to be presenting a rant video about today is about my mother and my not yet legal stepfather. Before we get into this video, please make sure to give this video a like, subscribe if you're new to my content, and don't forget to click on the notification bell to be notified whenever I upload. Let's play the mother and stepfather rant. I remember the first time I had experienced excessive pain in the form of extortion. I was 4 years old. Sometime in 2006, I was at the crib doing toddler stuff and adjusting to the first house my mom has ever bought a few months prior. Next thing you know, I get bored, grab the house phone, and dial 911. I was always told that if I called 911, the police would show up to the house, but I didn't believe it because the person who told me that used to bully me whenever my dad would bring me to his place to get drunk with his dad. At the time, the kid was 17 and I was 4. The dude liked to mess with me a lot. But anyways, I called 911, and as soon as I heard the lady asking for an emergency, I hung up the phone. 10 minutes later, I hear probably the loudest knock on the door in my life. Because I was 4. My mom answers the door in straight confusion because she was unaware that I called the cops. My mom had to tell the cop that it was all a big misunderstanding and that there wasn't any emergencies. Shortly after that, the cop left and my mom came straight to me. I was holding the house phone the entire time. My mom asked me if I was the one that called the police. I said yes, because I thought honesty got people far in life. All that got me was getting beat up by a belt. Now personally, I don't condone this kind of crap to anyone under any circumstances, especially over this, because I just think it's pathetic. You're going to scar your children and they're going to learn whatever that keeps them from getting hurt, while you even give them the idea that you're going to whip them or hit them for doing something wrong. They can learn to listen to all of your standards, or the child can move on and leave you in their past. That last option is my motive. I'll never forget when my mom first decided to hurt me. She calls it quote-unquote discipline, but I highly doubt that is. I live in a 3-bedroom house with my brother, mother, and stepfather. I used to have the basement to myself, but after my stepdad moved in, he took over the living room and we started sharing bathrooms. My parents also boss me around every day. Sometimes I'll do it without a problem, and other times I just need some time to myself, but my parents can't understand that. All they care about is the house and my education, so of course, they're going to constantly nag me about keeping the house clean and doing my schoolwork no matter what. Not to mention they repeat every single instruction of what I'm supposed to do around the house as if I don't know how to do anything. They think I'm a retard who needs reassurance on everything just because I have autism and I smoke weed. It's very annoying. I wish my parents could just leave me alone for a whole day while I'm home, but I know it's not gonna happen because it hasn't happened in years. So much for loving parents. Growing up before I was a teenager was kinda sad. I didn't have many friends, so I spent most of my free time inside the house reading books and making stories on notepads. I didn't have cable or internet, so I kinda had to manage life through that. I had a few friends back in elementary school, but I haven't talked to any of them since I moved to Boston back in 2012. I couldn't go to their houses because my mom wouldn't let me. According to her, you have to be a certain age to go to your friend's house by yourself for safety precautions. She didn't let me start going over to my friend's house until I was like 13, 14 years old. It's pretty ridiculous. Now, this section is more about my grandmother, and yes, my grandmother is too a psycho. I already made a video about this. It's about me getting sent to rehab because I ran away from my abusive grandmother, and she lied to the cops, which ultimately got me into rehab. They were going to keep me in rehab for a year thanks to how enthusiastic my grandmother was, but once they saw my behavior over time, they released me 9 months early. They had me on some pills too, so that made rehab even more great. But I'm just glad I got released early, otherwise I'd probably be in Boston at this very moment right now. My mom heard about the situation and told me that I went to rehab because I had anger issues and a bunch of mental problems. Of course I knew she was lying because, for one, they literally told me that I don't deserve to be in rehab for a full year or any time close to that, like 15 minutes before they released me, and two, they let me go 9 months early, and they rarely release people that early too. My mom has a problem with me making YouTube videos for 3 reasons. 1. She thinks all I do on my channel is talk about or give out information about my life that would be considered personal information, such as a full name, telephone number, address, etc. Anyone with common sense would know that posting this kind of stuff anywhere on the internet is not a good idea at all. 2. She doesn't like the profanity I use in my videos. But I'm not going to do anything about it now because I'm a 17-year-old. What 17-year-old doesn't use any type of vulgar language? 3. She doesn't like it when I say negative things about her on my channel. It gets her pretty triggered. See, if she wasn't always getting the police on my case and giving me a hard time, maybe I wouldn't have to relieve my stress by talking about how abusive some people are in this world to the only platform I feel that can even relate anymore. So ever since my mom found out I smoked weed, she's been a lot more rude, a lot more non-negotiable, a lot more abusive, and a lot more stressed out. But that's not going to stop me for calling her out on the internet. When she found out I smoked weed, she stopped in the middle of the road and punched me in the face 4 times. I think it's safe to say that my mom has more of an anger issue than she says I have, because I don't fight people. Period. She had the nerve to punch me in the face several times. I ran away from home to keep myself safe, and she called me in as a runaway. I spent the entire Thanksgiving break with a whole different family, which to me is pretty sad because I don't have a loving and caring family anymore. Haven't had one in years, so y'all are lucky to have one. People in this world can switch up on you faster than you can think. I wish I could say otherwise, but I guess that's how cruel some people are. My stepdad has lived at my house since October 17th of last year and has beaten me up a lot of times. I'm going to briefly explain the scenarios, or at least the ones I can remember off the top of my head. The very first time he ever beat me up was the same day I got my first charge. I threw away a roach because it reeked like weed. My stepdad smelt it in the garage, accused me of smoking weed in the house, and had my mom help him beat me up for it. I called the police to press charges, but they came up with a bag of weed my mom found and charged me instead. Because of all that, I was homeless for a week straight, out in the freezing cold, and I had to go to a drug education program 3 weeks ago. Another time I got beat up by him was when I came home from school. I was at my house for like 10 minutes before I got beat up and kicked out. I don't even remember why they were mad, but I started recording them on my phone, so if they did try something, I'd at least have some sort of evidence. But my stepdad ended up snagging the phone from my hand before any punches were thrown, and they both started beating me up anyways. I had to live at a friend's house who lives like 5 blocks from me. I lived with him and his girlfriend for 2 weeks. I had also lost my job at Cub Foods in the same time frame because there was a snowstorm and I had no way of getting to work. One more scenario is the most recent one. About a month ago, my stepdad punched me in the face because he thought I threatened him over a chore. He told me to do something even though my mom told me otherwise. I confronted him about it and he got mad. I left the house, walked to the nearest gas station to calm down, called the police, and the results never changed. My parents didn't get charged at all. I got a lecture about how I'm supposed to listen to my guardians under any circumstances. So much for calling the police. So 2 or 3 weeks ago, one of my neighbors had called me asking if I could send a picture of my stepdad. I asked her why, and she told me that she wanted to confirm if it's the same 7-foot black dude that went into somebody's lawn, stalked someone's daughter and had apparently mistaken that person for another. Now, this situation don't got nothing to do with me, but I'ma still talk about it because it shows how much of an idiot my stepdad is. I sent her the picture and sure enough she confirmed it. She also told me that I should tell my stepdad to stay away from them. I mean, he doesn't even look like a friendly person. He's disrespectful to me at every opportunity he gets, and I hate his guts. But I did tell him off about it, and he was mad that I sent the picture of him to her, but I don't care at all. In conclusion, my parents are toxic, abusive, hypocrites, liars, and are so rude, especially to me and my brother too. They even threaten my little brother from time to time whenever he does something wrong. But all good things will happen to good people soon, and karma will bite the asses of bad people. I won't even care or be surprised if it killed them too. Thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate the fact that y'all care enough to make it to this part of the video. I think I'm actually in a position to upload once every Monday morning. I'm currently on a week break from summer school. I failed a lot of classes because of all the issues that's been going on for years. The stress and anxiety had really gotten to the best of my head for a long time. And now I think things are actually starting to get a little better. Let's hope no more problems actually continue to spark up. I'm also on the look for a job because I've been broke for so long. Ever since I lost my job at Cub Foods back in February, life has been terrible. Like, I've been piss broke for about 5 months now, and every time I get kicked out, it's a 50-50 chance on whether if I can spend one night at my friend's house or pass out on a bench overnight with no type of food, hydration, none of that. I even end up wearing the same clothes for weeks. Like, it's bad. But I'm here, somewhat safe, still keeping my chin up, and I managed to make another video for y'all because I care about y'all too. Follow me on all of my social media. The links will be on the screen and in the description below. Please share this video to anyone that is going through some problems, and I'll see y'all next Monday morning with a story that may or may not blow some minds. Peace out. Sauce.